What is this?
I don't know. Why is there a tag on my toe? He's got a mascot.
Oh. A minion.
Our minion has got a minion.
Me?
I don't know which way around this should be. Should this be Max? Please do not disturb. Or please do not disturb Max.
I don't know, but why would anyone... Oh, no.
I don't know.
I don't know. Okay.
This
is normal. This is normal.
Well, yes, I suppose compared to everything else, this is normal.
What is happening?
I don't know.
Keep out. Okay.
As we were underneath those, are we supposed to keep out of everything else? Or
Yeah, no.
Some of those. Get out of the way. Oh.
Oh.
I have beer.
Hey.
Skull beer.
That's just regular beer.
This looks actually quite nice.
It does look like it's got a good colour.
Yeah.
Impressive display. I like it. Oh.
It's very gothic, isn't it?
It is quite goth, yes.
Are you getting a bit of a goth vibe overall with the, just so the people at home can see, look. The whole kind of...
There's definitely a motif going on here, isn't there?
There is, and with chocolate bat over there.
Some skull goblets and... Oh, I see. There's definitely something afoot here, isn't there?
It's probably dirty work.
Probably.
Oh.
Oh. What?
There's a thing.
What's that? What's that?
It looks like a DVD.
Go on, then.
I don't want to. I'm scared.
Okay. Well, come on, just ha. Ha ha.
You want to have a look? Do you want to see?
Which makes me... Yep.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
What is it?
It appears they've been sent to us.
You mean we're not choosing them on our own anymore?
Apparently not this time.
Does call into question again whether or not all of the choices have been our own.
You keep doing this to my brain!
I'm sorry, I can't help it. We were stuck here. I'm trying to figure out if this is purely a construct of my imagination, or your imagination, or some third party. Or maybe not, maybe something even beyond that. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe if I can figure that out, then we can get out of it.
Well, it seems at least we don't have to make a decision this time.
Well, no, absolutely not. We see the decision, as you say, has been made for us.
Although I have to admit, the more I think about it, the funnier this gets.
The more I think about it, the more I need to go and scrub my fingers with caustic soda.
It won't work. Believe me, I've tried.
Oh, man. Okay, fair enough. I guess then I'll be doing this.
I think we are doing this.
Well, before we will come back to that in a moment.
In a moment.
Let us just pay our dues to the wonderful people at home. See, I can't hang on here, but then you can't see
Very
it.
fetching.
How's that?
Suits you.
Okay, we shall keep it then for this one. So kind of 80s.
It's very 80s. It's so over the top, yes.
It would have been end of the 80s. Like one of the first earrings I had was like a little metal skull, a skeleton earring that sort of hung down to about
Oh, well,
here.
you had the full skeleton? I used to have skulls, but I never had the full skeleton.
Unfortunately, with my hair at the time, it always used to get caught.
Oh, right. No, I hated the way really long earrings would bang on your neck.
Yes. Yeah,
So that's why I never got the full skeleton, even though they were enticing as a fashion accessory.
It was small enough that it didn't feel too heavy.
Oh, okay.
And I could easily forget about it. This is going to annoy me. I'm going to take it off now.
I thought it might.
It's typical, isn't it? I normally have no other reason to interfere with my ears at all until there's something there.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to our ancestral home.
Yes, that too.
Hello, and welcome to the first of our May selection of shows for Maybe Movies. As always, I'm 90% Max.
I'm at least 2/3 Sam.
Thank you for joining us. If you are new to the channel, just a quick rundown. Basically what we do is every month we take two movies that have some kind of connection, no matter how tenuous that may be. We extract certain key characters from those films and then put them into the plot of the opposite movie, and then discuss how a new film may come about and what it might look like with those new characters in place. If you joined us last month, then you'll know we ran a bit of a poll amongst our viewers to see what you thought about the possibility of us shortening these shows to doing 2 shows a week. We got some response, and thank you guys for those of you who did, as a result of which we have decided that is what we're going to do. It won't affect the pitch meeting because these ones are normally pretty quick anyway. So the first show of every month will be just 1 show a week, and then after that it'll be 2 shows a week. We haven't decided what days yet, but I'm probably thinking with the way that we're generally shooting at the moment, I'd say first one on a Wednesday, second one on the Friday.
It feels like a good plan.
Yeah. There we go. We have 2 films that we are ecstatic about, which is brilliant, actually. But again, so we'll come back to that. Before I go any further, one very quick shout out this week to, again, our old friends on the other side of the planet, to Nami and Buko, or Nami to Buko, excuse me, I'll get the channel right.
Oh, of course, yes.
To our friends in Osaka, who have been doing lots of wonderful stuff, even replacing some of their equipment recently. Keep up the good work, guys, and please do leave us a comment. Let us know how you think we're getting on, and tell us how terrible we are.
We do love to hear from you, though.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And with those little bits and pieces out of the way...
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Can I throw myself into the void?
You think it'll work? No. I was going to say nothing else has worked, has it?
No. As we seem to have been left, the cinematic masterpiece that is Twilight
versus Underworld.
Which again, this is a weird one. This is going to be an interesting one. I don't know about for you, but for me, Underworld is one of those films that I kind of remember more for where I was when I saw it as opposed to the film itself.
Yes.
Because I saw it...
Yes, no, I kind of remember the experience in the movie, that period in time and everything. Yes, I know what you mean.
Visiting friends in Cape Town.
Oh, right. Okay, so you have got very particular memories.
Yeah, so
right.
It was like the first film I'd ever gone to see at a cinema in Cape Town. And it was just right. Like, okay. Whereas this, I have actively avoided seeing.
Yes, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I have already had the experience myself. I actually read the book before it was a thing. I have a friend who works, or used to work at a book warehouse.
Right.
And every Christmas I used to get a carrier bag full of books from the warehouse. And one year there was an editor's copy of Twilight. It didn't even have its proper cover or anything. So I read it before everybody else did. And at the time I thought, well, it's an interesting take. You know, it's okay. And then it exploded. And everybody went insane about it. And like many people, my mum fell completely and utterly in love with it, and would not leave me alone until I had both watched all of the films and read all of the books. She said I couldn't say they were bad until I had read them and watched them. Which I have to admit she had a bit of a point, but it did mean that I watched 5 films and read 4 books of this.
And how are you planning on getting those hours of your life back?
I don't know, possibly therapy.
Well, hopefully this will be part of that therapy.
Yes, hopefully. I do want to say, guys, this wasn't a choice of either. This is actually a choice that comes from my dear brother, who pointed out how incredibly funny this would be. And yes, it's funny. And then you realise you have to watch Twilight again.
And again.
Mm-hmm.
And again. Just to make sure that you've sucked all of the juice out of it.
I'm sure some people will give us some hate for this, but I really don't care. I am not fond of the Twilight series. Sorry, folks.
I suppose we will have to say, damn you, David, as well, because we've been trying to entice him to come and join us, but he has declined. Which is fine. I understand it's not for everybody, but it means he's probably sitting there at home going,
Indeed, yes, because we had to and he didn't.
Let's start from the top. Number one, somewhere here. Number one. Characters. Who is making the switch? I'm guessing it's going to be Celine and. Are we taking Scott Speedman as well? Is it Michael, or is it are we just swapping vampire characters here?
I thought about this. It starts to get weird. I mean, theoretically, we could construct a pair of movies where we've got a couple of gay pairings, but it changes some of the dynamics in terms of the relative helplessness of individual characters within their stories.
Agreed.
So I feel inclined to say that we should probably swap the couples.
Okay, that makes sense.
Just make it easier on ourselves. Because then the relative power dynamics remain the same.
Nice and simple. So Celine and it's Michael, isn't it?
Celine and Michael Corvin.
Corvin, yeah, and Edward and Bella.
Edward and Bella, yes.
Which brings me on to point two.
Point two, being.
Being, words escaping me again, as they tend to do. They kind of leak out my ears. Maybe that's what this is for, is to stop words coming out my ears.
Oh, that would explain something.
Cheers. Thank you very much,
buddy.
Fair enough. It's to do with mythology.
Mythology / rules, kind of. Yes, I knew this was going to come up. In fact, if you didn't, I would have. Are we transplanting their particular mythologies, or
once we move the character over, do they then conform to the mythology of the universe that they now inhabit?
I would argue that they conform to the mythologies that they now inhabit, but they take their relative abilities with them.
So you want to go a little bit sort of World of Darkness on this? In that there are differences, there are different varieties and different variations. So
there are subtle indications in Underworld that there are specific individuals with special abilities.
Mm-hmm.
So there is some precedence for it. It's not really overt in Underworld. It's much more about the action and the interaction, rather than the hard mythology of vampires, as it were. Otherwise, Edward has a lot of problems right out of the gate.
It does mean that he can walk around in the day.
He hasn't got an awful lot of special qualities that aren't innate to his...
to his type of vampire.
He's a mind reader, he's immune to sunlight,
mm-hmm.
and his skin is impervious to anything except claws and teeth.
Yeah, that's about it.
However, he has almost no combat skill whatsoever.
No, as you find out, yeah.
I actually spent some time thinking about this earlier on, because I was thinking, he's supposed to be a vampire for about a century. I'm like, okay, well, is there a possibility that he might have ended up in World War II or or Vietnam? The thing is, with the way that they are, especially with the sparkly skin, being called into action would pretty much be a guarantee that the species would be discovered. So I imagine they would have done anything and everything to ensure that none of them ever got drafted. So I see no particular reason why he would have any skills.
I suppose then that we can use that then as an excuse for him being, because I suppose if he's filling the role that Celine feels that then he is a death dealer.
Yes. That was going to be one of my next points, is do we agree that he's a death dealer? I think so.
So in that respect, then again, we will get into this more when we actually get into the things themselves.
Mm.
Are we then saying that Celine is teaching night school at this high school in Forks?
Oh, you know what? I haven't gotten as far as that. That's a really good point. Because she's just not young enough, is she?
No.
She can't do what Edward does.
And neither is he, neither is Michael. They're way too old to be in high school. But in a night school, in the school in Forks.
Mm. Yeah. It requires some finagling.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe mandatory extracurricular activities are a requirement at the school.
That isn't a euphemism in any way, shape or form.
That's exactly how they'd say it in the States.
It's just the smutty people in Britain who would see it completely different.
You'd have to take something after class, whether it be being in the Glee Club or being with the newspaper or whatever, maybe it's a mandatory thing at the school that you have to participate in after school activities. Yeah. It's also, I mean, it's perennially overclassed. It's always raining. It's a fact of that particular region of the States.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, no, I am happy with that.
Especially since the story takes place in March.
Remember,
it's a brief rewatch earlier, and I noticed that somebody says it's March when she arrives.
Point the third.
Okay, yeah, all right. So we're agreeing that Celine's teaching night classes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Point the third. Let's have a look at acts.
Yes. Okay. All right.
So what have you? Well, what have you got for Twilight first of all?
Twilight. Okay. I struggled a bit with the first act. Where the first act ends for Twilight. But I think in the end I decided it's the second bit of research when Bella starts researching the cold ones and starts to come to a realization. It's cued in the film as a significant moment, like the music swells. There are a number of signifiers in the film that says something is happening here.
My first thought was somewhere around where he saves her life, where we actually see the display of his powers, but that makes more sense.
I have to admit, as I was watching, I was like, is that it? Because it could be. That's that's the inciting action. In a lot of ways, that's the inciting incident. But she doesn't. If you think about it in terms of the hero's journey, she isn't crossing the threshold yet. She's been invited, but she hasn't yet.
That's the call to action: is that she's got the evidence and now she has to act on it.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you'd agree with this. I called the second one shortly, if not immediately after the baseball game.
Yes. I struggled whether it was the moment they're confronted by the trio, or whether it's Bella's horrible moment with her father immediately afterwards to try and get away. Mm-hmm. I think probably it's the trio.
Yes, I suppose there is again. Yeah, there is a kind of, as you just again the production itself, the music and that changes at the point that they are revealed to the others.
Yeah, and the editing does as well. It suddenly gets a lot choppier and faster on the editing and things.
I'm sure we'll come on to that quite a bit when we do. Okay, cool. What about for Underworld? I don't know. Again, I put end of Act 1 with the Awakening of Victor. I don't know whether it's when she starts it or when he wakes up.
Yes, I got really confused because this has got quite a long sort of first act, hasn't it? Originally, I thought it was when she first rescued him and she crashed the car and he rescued her. But then as I kept watching, no, you're right. Waking Victor is the moment because that changes the power dynamic and brings an entire new set of circumstances into play. It's the turning point.
Cool. What about then for Act 2? What did you have for that?
Basically, when there's that series of revelations, so there's the story of the Lion of Corvinus, and then Lucian's tale when Michael's having the visions of what really happened.
That makes sense. I think I called it slightly differently. I called it around the time when Amelia gets killed.
Oh, right. Okay, that's...
But...
When was that?
That might be too late. I'm not sure.
Oh, right. Okay, so you've got it earlier than me.
Oh, okay.
When Michael starts having his visions of what originally happened, with his memories from the bloodline, that's when they've already got Amelia's blood. Okay.
We have our characters, we have our mythology in place, we have our acts outlined for note-taking purposes. Mm-hmm. Brilliant! And I think, I don't know if you've got anything else, that's...
Just going to say, I think I'm going to try my best to have some fun with this. I'm pretty sure we are going to break some shit.
And not entirely on purpose.
Not entirely.
But there is a point to the 4.
Oh, okay. Yes, the point to 4th.
Are we doing Twi-World or Underlight?
I think I want to get Twi-World out of the way first.
I was thinking exactly the same thing. Just as I was like watching the cog standing there, I was like, actually, yeah, let's get that done.
Just get it done.
I suppose, yeah, it's slightly less... It feels slightly less dirty only having the two characters in the other world as opposed to having to live in the Twilight world for longer.
Yeah, yes. Just get it done.
Okay.
See what happens. It'll be hilarious in some ways, because, no, I should save it for later. But yes, there'll be there'll be interesting moments.
Thank you for joining us again, and please do come back and join us. So it's going to be on next Wednesday. Now, it'll be just Act 1 of Twi-World,
Should be fun.
For some reason I want to go, Twi-world.
Twee. It's because it's a three-world. Twee-world.
And composed.
Don't hate us too much. We just can't help ourselves.
Yes. Thank you again for joining us, and please do come back and join us at the usual time. So it'll be available on YouTube from 7:30 in the morning on next Wednesday, and for Act 1 of Twi-world, and then of course we will be back next Friday as well with Act 2.
Should be great.
Well, we'll be a third of the way through.
I'm going to see if I can have fun.
Yes, I don't know about you though. I kind of need to go and take a shower. You didn't need to know that, but well, there you go. Anyway, please, as always, do take care of yourselves. Enjoy the freedom that you all seem to be enjoying. Bastards. And we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
As always, TTFN, guys. Cheerio.
Ba 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 ba.